Hi, I'm Randy Russ with Ashland Industries. Today we're going to show you how to adjust the valve on our 10.5 foot cut ejector scrapers. That basically consists of the I-180TS2 and the I-215TS2. Basically these are both ejector scrapers, and like all our ejector scrapers, there's three circuits that control all the functions of the scrapers. Number one circuit is the lift cylinder. It's basically control the blade over the front, so that pretty much runs on its own lift control system. The second circuit that we have that control the apron and push-off together with a sequencing valve, and that's where we're going to show you how to set up that valve controls that allow the apron to open up and the push-off to basically come forward. Then on retraction, the push-off comes back and then the apron will come closed. But basically I want to show you at the front of the scraper we have the steel bulkhead that has all the hydraulic hoses. So basically the middle four hydraulic hoses control the functions of this scraper. As you can see by the valve, the decals here, the top two control the lift circuit, moving the blade up and down, and the bottom control the apron and the push-off. So basically these four hoses control all the functions of these scrapers. Top two are one set, the bottom two are a second set. Let's go to the back of the scraper. Back of these ejector scrapers we have a plastic encased slide saddle that has two plastic plates on the bottom of the tube and two plastic plates up on the top. So this basically guides the push-off back and forth. So the important thing is when we're setting the valves, we don't want to make sure that we don't have this thing pressurized too tight so it's grabbing the tube, creating additional higher friction to allow the push-off to come forward. So basically what we do is we adjust these 6 bolts on this side, and then the opposite side there'll be another 6 bolts. You just want to set that up to a point where you have it tensioned up. You do all 6 bolts that way, and then we'll do the opposite side. So what it's doing is it draws the tube up as well as the opposite side, then we'll draw it from the other side. So we're just kind of getting the plastic basically touching the tube, but not really squeezing it too bad. So once you got it drawn up, basically what we'll do is we'll set the jam nut to hold it in place. And we'll do all 6 bolts the same way on this side here as well. Then we'll go to the opposite side and do the adjustments on the other side. The idea is we want that basically slide saddle to be evenly set up to a point where it's not squeezing the tube too tightly, but yet still tension enough to a point where you get a lot of play back here. Now that we got the slide saddle fully adjusted so it's not crimping that tube too tightly, we come to the valve control, which is basically at the left-hand corner, just in front of the left tire here. And the valve basically consists of 2 cartridges. You have a sequencing valve, which is on the top of the valve, and a counterbalance cartridge that basically is at the back side of the valve. So the first valve we're going to basically adjust is the sequencing valve. All you need is a 9/16 inch wrench and a 5/32 Allen wrench. So basically what we want to try to do with this adjustment is that this adjustment is being made clockwise. So what we want it to do is have that push-off remain back while the apron's opening up. And what you want to do is have a guy in the cab running full throttle operating that side of that circuit. So what we want to try to do is make sure that push-off is not creeping forward while the apron's opening up. If you see that symptom, you want to turn this clockwise and keep making that adjustment until you have that push-off stop moving while the apron's raising. So basically what you do is find that point where the apron stops, or pardon, the push-off has stopped moving, and the apron's the only thing that's moving on that side of the circuit. Then give it 1/4 rotation, and then set your jam nut back to the valve control there, so you basically lock that adjustment where it's at. So now we'll set the counterbalance valve. The second adjustment is for the counterbalance cartridge. Now what that basically goal is, as you basically move the apron up, push-offs coming forward, just like we did on the sequence valve, this valve controls the relationship between the apron and push-off and retraction. What we want to do is that apron's held up and the push-off's retracting. We want to hold that apron up and hold that oil, allow the push-off to go back. That way a contractor can come back, level the dirt, or start loading right away without having to shut the apron. And we do that basically the same type of thing with a 9/16 and a 5/32 is basically we'll back off the jam and we turn this exact opposite, counterclockwise, to increase that threshold pressure. So you want the apron to stay up while the push-off's retracting. Again, you want to do this at full RPMs with the operator running that machine at full throttle, and you'll find that point where you basically put this counterclockwise so the apron is staying up while the push-off's going back. And once you find that point, give it an extra 1/4 turn, lock the jam nut, and you're good to go.